Auburn need Nick Saban more than Alabama? I read an article about this in Kalen Deboer and thought it was strange. It would be terrible for Saban and the Bama family. Let's get to the Bama news and more news. Would Nick Saban be more useful to Auburn than Alabama? That's an intriguing question, especially when you consider the current college football recruiting landscape. While Kalen Deboer has worked tirelessly to keep Alabama competitive in a constantly changing and challenging environment, Auburn seems to be sinking deeper into chaos. The Tennessee River program is facing visible recruiting difficulties, with Hugh Freeze trying to hold the fort as the pressure mounts. Is it really possible to imagine Nick Saban, the architect of the Auburn dynasty, crossing the state to rescue his rivals? Or will he continue playing golf and occasionally appearing as a commentator on ESPN? Let's be clear, Kalen Deboer doesn't have anything to prove to anyone, at least not yet. His first season at Alabama's helm was difficult, even though Saban's shadow persists in looming over Tuscaloosa. He brought stability after the Saban era, secured good recruiting appointments, and made smart moves in his second year, such as hiring Ryan Grubb as offensive coordinator, which will be a huge help. However, all of this seems secondary when rumors surfaced that Nick Saban could return as head coach. Greg McElroy, a former Saban player, was the one who rekindled that flame, but quickly extinguished it. Too late. The media was already hungry for any scrap of information that might link Saban to a return to the field. The truth is, this kind of speculation serves more as fuel for empty arguments than as anything grounded in reality. Coaches like Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly may even toy with the idea of Saban returning, but that doesn't mean it's plausible. Georgia's Kirby Smart was perhaps the most honest when he said that Saban would be too qualified to take on any lesser role than the one he once held. And let's face it, putting Saban at Auburn would be like asking Michael Jordan to coach rival UNC's basketball team. It sounds absurd, even if theoretically possible. On the other hand, there's no denying that Auburn is in desperate need of a turnaround. If this year's Iron Bowl ends with a convincing Alabama victory, Hugh Freeze might not stay. So, do you know anyone who's proven themselves in the SEC and left a job in the conference only to be hired years later by a rival university? Saban certainly has the resume. But at the same time, it's hard to imagine the man who built an empire in Tuscaloosa accepting the challenge of rebuilding a rival program. He stated several times that his time as head coach is over, preferring to enjoy golf and appear on ESPN's College Game Day. Meanwhile, Kalen Deboer continues to do the heavy lifting at Bama. Recruiting remains strong, vital to keeping Alabama competitive in an era where athletes have more freedom and power than ever before. At the same time, he needs to correct the defensive mistakes that cost him dearly last season, especially in the humiliating losses to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. These are the kinds of results that fuel rumors about Saban. Still, there's something to be said for the aura of invincibility that Alabama has lost in recent years. Since that undefeated 2020 season, the program seems to have lost some of its grandeur. Teams once considered inferior, like Texas A&M and Tennessee, have begun finding ways to defeat the Crimson Tide. This didn't happen as often in Saban's day. But can Saban himself navigate this new reality of college football, where athletes have more control and salaries have skyrocketed? It's a valid question. Deboer, on the other hand, seems to have adapted to this new order. We'll see how things play out. The news from SEC Media Days rekindles the pride of a fan base that lives and breathes its traditions. Especially regarding the battle for the starting quarterback spot, a position that carries the weight of a glorious history. Deboer's words, spoken with the calm and confidence of someone who knows what they're building, echoed in the College Football Hall of Fame's main room, and they bring optimism for the upcoming season, with the opener scheduled against Florida State on August 30th. The big news from SEC Media Days is that redshirt freshman Ty Simpson is in pole position to be the Tide's starting quarterback. Deboer didn't hesitate to state that, if the team played today, Simpson would be the one to lead the offense, a decision that reflects the player's solid performance during spring training. That's no small feat. Simpson, who has already spent 2 years as a backup, including a stint behind Jalen Milroe, has shown he's ready to take center stage. Ty throws an easy-to-catch ball, Deboer remarked, praising not only the player's technical ability but also his intelligence and leadership. It's impossible not to be thrilled by the image of Simpson, now in his 4th year of college football, dominating the offensive system and earning the respect of his teammates. He is, in the coach's words, a natural leader, someone who understands the highs and lows of the game and is prepared to carry the weight of expectations in Tuscaloosa. But Alabama, as always, isn't a team that settles for just one star. The competition for the quarterback position is far from a one-man race. Austin Mack, the freshman backup, emerges as a different figure, bringing a physical presence that translates into powerful throws. Deboer was full of praise when describing Mack, noting that the player had his most significant moments in the spring, sharing snaps with the first team. He's the kind of athlete who impresses just by stepping onto the field, and his development is a sign that Alabama has depth and versatility on offense. And, of course, we can't forget Kalen Russell, the former 5-star recruit who, even fresh out of high school, is already making waves. Deboer was visibly impressed with Russell's maturity, as he learned the offensive system with surprising speed and made giant strides during the spring. "You'd never guess he's a high school senior," the coach said, and that statement alone is enough to get any Tide fan dreaming about the future. What's clear is that Kalen Deboer is building something special. He's not only inherited an elite program, but he's molding Alabama in his own image with an approach that values hard work, competition, and continuous development. The fact that he hasn't officially named a starter yet speaks to his confidence in his 3 quarterbacks and, more importantly, the system around them. "All 3 have the potential to do really important things for our offense," Deboer said, his tone a mix of caution and enthusiasm. And he's right to emphasize the environment. Alabama isn't just about the quarterback. It's about the offensive line that protects, the receivers who turn passes into explosive plays, and the defense that has always been something different about the team. With offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb alongside Deboer, the Tide's offense promises to be dynamic and adaptable, regardless of who's throwing the ball. As fall practices approach, scheduled to begin on July 30th, Alabama fans have every reason to be excited. Ty Simpson may be leading the way now, but the presence of Austin Mack and Kalen Russell ensures the competition will continue. I want to see your thoughts.